This is the BK Lounge Podcast. Welcome to laughs, love, and crazy debates by your two favorite hosts, Bert and Kenny. Join us in talks about military life, relationships, golf life, and so much more. Your new favorite place to come hang out on Sundays. Introducing the BK Lounge Podcast, a Bert's Beat Studios production. And now your hosts, Bert and Kenny.
Almost. I don't know what was going through my mind, and then I saw you not moving or saying anything.
Well, I thought you were gonna start screaming at them for something, and I thought you were gonna say "Welcome in, everyone," and then
I just
you're
got
like,
out of breath. I don't know what happened. I felt like we were frozen, and I'm like, "Are we frozen right now?" But I wasn't moving or saying anything. Hey, everybody, welcome in.
"We're not frozen.
Welcome in.
Hello, hi.
How you do?
What are we doing?"
Oh my gosh, that was.
I thought I was worried for you for a second. I don't know what was going on.
Something just happened, and I'm like all of a sudden out of breath.
You all right?
No.
Are you anxious? You nervous?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know. I need a drink or something. I don't know. Welcome in, everybody.
Guess what? Episode 9.
I was like, oh, what, are we breaking news already? Episode 9.
Episode 9. We're excited. We're back.
We're back in action.
Another week.
I never know what day it is, and we were over with some friends today, and she's like, what should we title the podcast? And I was like, oh my God, it's Sunday.
Yeah. So.
Days go by when I'm with you.
No. Romance. We're romance.
We are romance.
Yeah. So, no.
Big football day.
It's been a football weekend.
Yeah.
Some big games happening right now. I have the Eagles game on my phone, checking the stats. It's close. It's snowing there.
Cold.
It's crazy. But yeah, no. We're rooting for everybody except for the Chiefs and the Bills.
And I just say yes because, as you guys know, I don't know football. So yes, what she said.
We're there. We're rooting for anybody but those two.
Football. That was good.
Foosball. I shouldn't be wearing this color if I'm rooting against the Bills today, but go Ravens.
Yep.
At this point.
Right. Well, you also shouldn't be wearing that at all because that's actually my hoodie.
I think you're mistaken.
Oh, so I got that confused in my head. I forgot how it goes. Yeah, welcome in. Sunday. Happy Sunday. Episode 9. I'm going to do the recap of episode 8.
I don't even have to ask you.
See how I took advantage of that? And you thought I was going to just dish it on you right there.
I did, because I've done all of them except for one.
Except for one. So, episode 8, we talked about making decisions. Mm-hmm. Making decisions, financial decisions, tough decisions, how Kenny is a break it down, think about it, crunch numbers, see if it can kind of work decision maker. And I am I don't like to wait, I want results, I'll figure it out, decision making kind of guy. And we kind of got into kind of some financial decisions that we're in the midst of or just completed and planning for, and kind of talked about the ups and downs and the not necessarily the stressors, but the things that make us go, ooh, this is different.
Yeah.
What is with that smile?
Because it's funny.
What is funny?
Because it's like, you're the one that's, for the first time ever, that's like, ooh.
Yeah, got to slow it down.
I always think that way. And it's not a me versus you type of situation or a recap, people. But I've always been somebody that really thinks about my decisions.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good it might be. Like, it could be the best thing in the world, and somebody puts it in front of me, and I'm like, I have to think about that. It doesn't mean that I'm going to say no. It doesn't mean I'm going to say yes. I just need to think about it. You're like, yeah, sure, sounds great. And then it's like...
Figure it out.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, do you know how many jobs I took when I was younger thinking I would like it and didn't do any research? And then I quit after like one day?
I don't want to know.
Dick Maz's.
Dick Maz's.
Worked at Dick Maz's for, I think, two shifts.
I worked at Dick Maz's.
Yep.
For a little over a year.
Yep.
Which was one of my first jobs.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But yeah, we're decision making. We both do it differently, but now we both have to get on the same wavelengths and push forward with our financial goals, our life goals, individual goals, and work cohesively as a team.
We're doing it as a team.
As a team, one fight.
But yeah, no, we talked about all of that, making the decisions, what kind of decisions, how it's different, how it's new, how it's hard.
Yep.
But it's also probably one of the most relatable topics,
Yes.
I would say, that we've talked about.
I think so too. And I think that's why, like, when we got off of our podcast last week, I was like, I think that went really well.
Yeah.
I think that went really well. And at most 99% of the time, I say that after every podcast because I feel like we never end a podcast and we're like, that could have been better, or that wasn't great, or whatever. We always enjoy our podcasts and get off and say that they were great. But like we ended with the highest amount of viewers we ever had, the highest average viewership, and we kind of talked about it. And I was like, I think it was because it was such a relatable topic, and we were talking not like vaguely about what we have going on or the decisions that we're making, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was a good one. It was easy to talk about. It was easy to listen back, even regardless of it being about hard decisions.
Yeah.
It's something that we're pretty open about, and we also, that's the whole reason why we're here. We're sitting talking about it, but we're sharing those stories just because you don't really hear much about it.
And I think for us, as we like talk about things like this, I also think it makes it easier for us in a sense. Like, because we have those conversations off of the podcast, obviously. And it's not that they're hard or challenging or whatever, but I think it really makes us slow down and talk about it and, see other people's input and what they're going through and, their thoughts on it. That I think it was a really great episode last week.
Yeah, good episode. So if you haven't listened back to it, make sure that you go to the BK Lounge website.
Yep.
Or you can check it out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.
That's right.
So go listen to it back, listen to the other ones. To be honest, we track like what is our more popular, and it's actually our second episode.
And it was about the one about me being a bad cook.
And it's our most listened to
episode.
So like, I think that's a good thing about like listening to them back, because we recently just traveled and we talked about that last week. But what I've like downloaded, like I can go back and listen at any point and you never really get lost, because every week it's so like vastly different.
Yeah.
And they ladder a little bit to in connection, but every week it's always like about the week. So it's not a matter of being like, oh, we're rolling this in from last week. It's like fresh, clean slate.
Yeah, you guys know what's going on. You guys know what's going on with us.
So, yeah, no. But yeah, so that was last week.
Yeah.
We've had, it feels like it was a long week, but it also went by very fast.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel that. And again, because I feel like I never know what day it is anymore. Mm-hmm. And then, like, sometimes your days off during the week changes. And then, I don't really have a normal 9-to-5 schedule and like weekends off kind of thing. So I think like the combination just makes it tough for me to track. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a week. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to?
Yeah, what have we been up to this week?
Or us? Or you? Or me?
Maybe like a little bit of you, a little bit of me, a little bit of us.
Okay. I've been working. Shocker, I know.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? But it is budget time of the year for us at the old country club. So me and my boss Lewis have been about neck deep in reports and budgeting and expense sheets and all of the fun stuff that nobody really cares about right now. So I won't really tackle that. But I enjoy it, not just because it reflects my year and what it's going to be like and what I'm projecting and all of those things, but I went to school for it, so it's a little bit of something that I know, and it makes me feel good because the process isn't that hard, because I have a history with it.
Yeah.
And so every year it's a little bit different. Hardest thing is my boss, it's his first time at our club doing our budget, because we used to have a different boss.
He's the big boss now.
He is the big man.
He's the big boss of the golf boss.
So it's his baby. It's our baby as a department, but him and I are doing it together. But it truly reflects on him and how he's the boss and how he operates, because I am one of his employees.
Right.
So even what I'm putting on paper reflects on him. So very excited for both him and I, because it's been a long time coming. I've been at this job for 2 years now, and
yeah, and now you guys have some different, or not necessarily different obstacles, but less obstacles in regards to chain of command and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like you really enjoy those kinds of tasks that not necessarily are like checklist items, but I feel like with you getting into like the nitty gritty and having to pull this and pull that and run this and run that, I feel like you're really good at those kinds of things.
Yeah, and I enjoy them by all means. It's not it makes the day go by really, really fast. So I do enjoy that by all means, but at the same time, it's, doing it together has been, admirable for both of us, because it's our first time here, because we were in the dark for the past 2 years.
Right.
Didn't know what was getting put in for our budgets, didn't know what we needed to put out for revenues and all of the boring terminology that I won't really get into, but like somebody else was doing it that didn't have a part in actually
making it happen.
So now it's like, okay, here's what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to get to it, rather than somebody throwing a number in the air and we're like, oh yeah, I have no idea how I'm going to get that number.
I guess that's that.
And then it's on paper and it's there for your whole year, and
right.
You just make do.
Yeah.
Granted, us as a team, for our whole team, have done a really good job this year. So
love to hear it.
I give a lot of props to our assistants, our shop help. Everybody has a big part into it.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to manage a budget for the extent that we do.
One team, baby.
But yeah, so that's what we've been up to. Well, what I've been up to.
Yep.
We were sick and we've been traveling, but one of my closest friends, her and her husband just had a baby. They had him back in December.
5 weeks ago tomorrow, right?
5 weeks ago tomorrow.
Yep.
And so it's their first, and for them it's been a lot, but they've been very lucky because they've had a lot of family come by. But selfishly, I have not enjoyed it because I've been sick, so I haven't been able to go up and see them and help and do all of the fun stuff. And I'm a big baby fan.
She's a big baby fan. As if you either you do or you don't know, Kenny is an auntie, and she is by far the best auntie. Like when I see her in her element as an auntie, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So I got to go and meet Caden, and it was awesome. He's cute. He's a cute little thing. He's very, very small. So I'm very happy that I got to meet him. But went up, had a little bit of a girls' day to get my friend Britt out of the house, and we left Kyle behind with the baby and his mom at the time. So that was really fun to go and do and get her out and just enjoy some girl time and laugh and do all of that. But then come to find out, we all know that I enjoy cooking and I enjoy feeding people, and they are not in a position to be making meals. They're trying to just figure out their life right now. And I was going through their stuff and I'm like, what are you guys eating when you don't have guests? And they're like, frozen meals. And I'm like,
Kenny will not allow that.
I am not a fan. So I did go and get them some meals and got them some stuff to have for the next week or so.
Yep, went up, brought breakfast. Aunt Pam's in town.
Yep, their Aunt Pam is in town.
Shout out Pam.
But no, we went up, spent a couple hours up there, got some baby loving in.
Yep.
Had breakfast, hung out. So that's something that we did together today.
Yeah, we haven't done a whole lot this week, really.
No.
Just work and kind of vegging, and then...
Yeah. I've been on... They call me Jenny. I know everybody calls me Kenny, but...
Yeah, don't get it confused, okay?
It's very different.
Jensen, Jenny, Kenny.
Yeah, but Britt has always called me Jenny since freshman year of college. So 10 years now.
But some people at the club who don't know you and think that like you go by Jenny, right? Because I feel like I've heard you. I could have swore I heard somebody in the club call you Jen or Jenny.
A lot of people call me Gents.
Gents.
Because they like get confused about my last 2 letters, I presume, but it doesn't make much sense to me.
Okay.
The boys at work call me Jay.
Yeah.
That's the only people that call me Jay is actually my brother, and then
I feel like your dad does sometimes too.
not really.
No?
My parents call me Ham. So
And that's how I got Kenny Hambo.
we don't talk about what my parents call me because nobody needs to call me Ham. Granted, I'm in a family full of ham blitz,
Yep.
but why am I the ham of the family?
I think it was just, you were just naturally born into it. Something that you did as a child or something about you just made you the ham.
I don't know. We'll have to ask my mother. But yeah, so, and since we've been going casual and we're like in the South now, I hope everybody recognizes my large
Gas station sody.
my gas station sody,
Polar Pop.
Polar Pop.
But why did you have to go to the gas station and get a Polar Pop?
So he got wings and I got Chipotle.
Yep.
He went and picked it up. He got me a drink. And
She wanted a DC.
It was flat.
Yeah, because
So I was
the
like,
Chipotle near us is terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
So it was flat, and I was like, oh, whatever, fine. And then I opened up my burrito bowl, and it was the most frowned upon thing I've ever seen in my life. And we live less than a quarter mile away from this Chipotle. So I'm like, I'm looking at it. The rice is cold. The meat is cold.
No, the rice wasn't cold. The rice was like borderline frozen.
Yeah. And there was like water in the bottom, like residual water, probably from uncooked rice. And I'm like, I'm not eating this. And I was like, but I'll bring it back. So I got in the car. I drove back. I showed the lady there and I was like, I'm not asking for my money back. I'm hungry and I want just what I ordered. So I went through the line, ordered a new bowl, went on my way. But I was like, now that I'm out, I don't want a flat drink. So I went to the gas station across the street and got myself a little DC. But this is the most Southern thing I have ever done in my life, is walk around with a styrofoam cup
Polar
of
Pop.
soda. So that is the most absurd thing. But
Is it a good DC though?
yeah, it's a good DC.
Good DC. Okay.
And it has the pebble ice in it.
Oh, okay. All right.
What
That's
have you-
good.
Enough about me, my antics, my Jenny versus Kenny, my
Polar Pop.
Southern drink here. What have you been doing?
Not much, frankly.
Well, that's not true because last time we checked, your computer was down.
Yes.
Last week.
Computers were down last week. We had just got them back 2 days before, a day before. Yes, the day prior. Anywho, computers were fixed. Had to get them set up for streaming, connecting the 2 PCs to function as one, which was very challenging, but thankfully BRG helped me out there because if it wasn't for BRG, I would not have 2 computers connected because it was very, very so confusing to me. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this in goes to the other out, and this in goes to the other in, and this needs to loop, and you need to change that, and then this, it was too much for me. But thankfully, Bobby Ray Gray helped me out, got me all hooked up. Still have some like very, very minor audio issues, but haven't had any major PC issues. No major crunches or issues with the stream. So thankfully, that has hopefully, knocking on wood, been resolved.
Chill with my
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't mean to almost spill your Polar Pop. But I deep cleaned the house yesterday.
Yep.
Yep.
This is his first time, like, living extensively with a girl, I'll say that. But he decided to clean the house, pull the couch out, and we have 2 girls that live here, so it's me and my friend Jess. And it's his first time truly living with girls, and I have mentioned to him, if you're going to vacuum, you need a sweep, because we have hardwood floors. So for all my female listeners.
Which to me as a guy, and again, I clean the house weekly, I feel like I don't see like clumps of hair.
It's not in clumps. That's the thing. It's not like...
But like the way you described it was like tumbleweeds of like hair I would find.
Under the couch, yeah, but like, so our whole house, it's almost 1,800 square feet.
Yeah.
So with that, and yeah, like I have blonde hair.
Right.
Jess has dark hair.
Right.
But you're vacuuming, and he gets like, he does the living room, does the kitchen, starts going down the hallway.
And all of a sudden it just like stopped, like the head of it stopped rotating. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. There must be something in there. So I like stick my hand underneath it, and I'm like, oh, I feel the bristles, and like I'm able to like move it. And then I turn it over, and it is literally just all hair wrapped around. You don't see a single bristle. There were 3 sections, and it's just hair wrapped all the way around. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Right. And I come in the kitchen, and I show her, and she's like, oh, wow, yeah, you need to sweep. Like, explained it to me. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. And I like tried like pulling it out, and I'm like, yeah, no, there's no cleaning this.
No, he was literally like,
I was about to order a new head for the.
We have to get a new vacuum, and I'm like, no, we don't. That's a brand new vacuum. And he was like, no, we have to get a new vacuum. And I'm like, no. And so I took it from him, and I grabbed the scissors. And for any female that knows that has a roller for a vacuum, you know that you have to cut the hair, because there's the bristles that your hair gets like pushed into, and then it just wraps around, and then it just becomes a giant knot. So you have to cut it out, and then you yank it out of the roller. And when I say we could have
literally made a wig, it wouldn't be a long-haired wig, maybe a little bob wig, but there was genuinely no like could have easily made a wig. And like she was pulling it out, and it was like this long, and it was thick.
Yeah.
Then she had to go back in, and then when she was done, you saw the bristles. I was like, oh wow, brand new vacuum.
Yeah, no, literally.
I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
So.
Never.
It was a first time for him.
Yeah, but deep clean the house, clean the bathroom. Did we go to dinner somewhere last night? Yeah. Nope. We went to the place with the screen.
We did not go last night. We went a couple nights ago, but yeah.
But yeah, we went to dinner. It was delicious. Had a Korean corn dog.
We did have a Korean corn dog. I had pho.
Yeah, I had a little combination plate. Delicious.
But yeah. So we've just been what we would call meeping around.
Meeping around.
So we've been meeping around.
Just
hanging around.
We've been traveling a lot for the last couple of months, so we're kind of just chilling.
Yep.
Getting back into the swing of working, both of us, and making sure things are working and all that kind of good stuff. Still planning our finances. Still making big decisions. Still talking things through.
Staying on our budget.
We got a budget.
Yep.
Should we talk about the Costco couch?
Do you want to talk about the Costco couch?
I feel like we should talk about it, because I feel like since TikTok didn't go anywhere, everyone has to have seen this TikTok couch.
But I'm like, I really don't want to talk about it, because I don't want anybody more to go and get it and push the date that it's going to show up back.
But I'm going to pull a Kyle. Shout out Kyle. Do we really need a new couch?
Yes.
Why?
You were in another relationship on that couch. So, want to put it on blast like that?
All right, new couch it is.
Yeah. Didn't think I was going to throw that out.
Didn't think if that was even a questionable answer.
That's the tea.
All right, well.
But I'm not angry about it, because it is a comfortable couch. It is your couch. It wasn't. It wasn't.
God, dog.
It wasn't anybody else's.
Did it get hot in here?
Yes.
Holy shit, snacks.
Spicy.
That is the tea. I looked at Costco.com, not one within 150 miles. I'm expanding that to about 250.
Because at this point, everybody in my life...
I can't believe that.
I don't care.
Holy shit, that was wild.
At every...
I can't not stop. Okay, I need to get it together.
You need to pull it together. Have a drink. Put your chapstick on.
Oh, man, that was funny to me.
But, like, it's true, because my sister said the same thing. She was like, you guys really don't need a couch. Your couch is beautiful. And I was like, I'll give you a good reason.
I'm curious now. What did she say to that?
And she's like, oh, that makes sense.
I mean, at the end of the day, I get it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not like I'm like, oh, that's dumb. Get over it. Like, yeah, fair, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
If there's any Costco reps, I know like to throw out big brand reps. If you just happen to be listening, we need to find a couch.
It's a
6-piece Aiden and Ivy.
Aiden and Ivy.
Modular.
Yep.
You can have it one long couch.
Yeah, you could get a really long one.
Really long couch, L-shaped, U-shaped. And if you do the U-shape, the ottoman fits in perfectly and makes a giant bed.
Yeah. Did I just create a lot of angst for you?
No, I'm not mad. I think that was hilarious. Just I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Especially with me looking at our notes and I don't even look up and I'm like...
Yeah, just like, I got a reason. Yeah, no, that was hilarious. How about this? I'll make a deal with you. If we find the couch very soon,
okay,
2 things have to happen.
What?
1, you have to get rid of the couch in the shed. And actually, there isn't a 2. That's the only one.
Okay. You guys saw it.
She didn't break that one down. She quickly agreed to that decision.
And his hands are sweaty because he's so nervous.
I'm not nervous. I just...
No.
Clammy.
You're never clammy. Unless if you feel some type of way.
That genuinely was hilarious.
So... If you really want to know why I feel the way I do, that's the way I feel.
Oh, God.
And we're in a room of honesty and a safe zone.
It is a safe zone, yeah. No reason to get mad at it. Just, again, I was expecting you to bring up, like, the fraying or, like, the tear.
Nope.
Just not expecting that whatsoever.
Nope.
We listen and we don't judge.
We listen and we don't judge.
Yes.
We should do that. We should do that segment on here one time. That would be so funny.
It'd be so hilarious for you.
Because what would you say?
I don't know, because I don't think I could think of anything that, like... Actually, no. No, I could definitely think of some things.
If it has to do with my coffee grounds that I leave on the counter, and if it has to do with my dishes in the sink, or if it has to do with my laundry in the room. Hey.
Are we about to do this right now?
No, because I already know that. And it's not about judgment. You say, I listen and I don't judge. And you speak on things that you've done, and I can't judge you for it.
Yeah, like I don't judge you for making our counter look like it's a barista station at the busiest coffee shop in Charlotte.
I wouldn't have that issue on our counter if I had a coffee bar. So, to each his own.
We listen and we don't judge.
See, even some of our first-time chatters. Kenny wants that couch. Bang.
Costco, give me a jingle.
But yeah, so, and the couch that he has, that he brought with him from Vermont, is a lot more expensive than this very, very wonderful couch that's at Costco. So, based off of our budget and the things that we have thought about...
Because we could probably sell that couch and pay for the Costco couch.
Correct. So...
let's see. Somebody said get a love sack. Talking about a budget. Can't afford it.
Yeah, love sack, that's overpriced. They have like these oversized like beanbag chairs that I would actually prefer. Well, and they're half of the price.
Yeah, but like beanbag, but
it's not a beanbag. It's
I know it's like a big flip. Like it's like
a giant pillow. It's like a giant like human dog bed.
I would love to get if like money was no object. I would get the comfiest love sack because they literally you can get ones that have like speakers in them. I feel like that'd be so like surround sound underneath you. It's so cool, but it's like, oh yeah, you want a L-shaped love sack with like cup holders, like massage, like storage, and like surround sound built into it. It's like $12,000.
Yes.
Outrageous. Not in the budget.
That's definitely not in the budget, but we're in the market for a couch. But like the biggest thing is I saw it on TikTok, and now all my TikTok feed is full of it.
Yep.
And I sent it to my sister. I've sent it to him. I sent it to Britt and Kyle because they need a couch. They need a couch. Let me talk to my microphone. They need a couch. So, Kyle, when you listen to this back, get your wife a new couch. But yeah, anyways. And my sister was like, yeah, whatever. And she actually went to Costco. Found it. Sat on it. And then sent both of us a text message to be like, 10 out of 10, recommend. And she was like, when I move, I'm buying that couch. And I'm like, panic. I was like, my sister can't have this couch if I don't have this couch.
And so I asked her sister, I was like, is it really that great? And she's like, best couch I've ever sat on. And I was like, shoot. Next question I asked her, I said, how bad is your sister going to want one? And she replied, very bad. Build it into the budget.
Yeah. Because she knows all about the budget because, you know.
Sisters.
Sisters. But yeah.
But speaking of TikTok, it's back.
It's back. What a tease.
It kind of was a tease. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to dive into it.
Dive into it. You have more connections with TikTok than I do. I use TikTok to just like turn my mind off. And like everybody else in the world, it's what you do when you go to bed and you're just laying there and you're like, all right, turn your mind off. Most of the time I'll have TikTok and I'm falling asleep and lights out.
Yeah.
So
I've got two things on TikTok. One, business side of it, fantastic. We get all sorts of new followers from TikTok for the Birds Beach stream. A little bit of revenue from TikTok. And I feel like I was kind of now just getting into the swing of things with going live, you know, having more average viewership on TikTok lives, bringing people over from Twitch. So it was kind of like reinvigorating me and like getting me more excited about TikTok and going live. So it's great for the business. It's great for the brand. It's great for meeting new people and bringing them over to Twitch. But I also wasn't mad at the thought, and this could be completely solved if I just had some willpower, is just getting rid of something that I aimlessly scroll on for hours. And again, simple self-control can fix that, not requiring an app to go away to be like, okay, it was for the better because now I'm not aimlessly scrolling. Because one thing that I have done since I've been down here is I've been trying to limit the amount of time on my phone. Genuinely.
What?
Yeah, I have. And that's like, remember the other day I asked you, I was like, hey, when you text me, does it show that I have Do Not Disturb on? And you're like, no. And I was like, oh, it's because I have you in as, like, it goes through and automatically will always notify me if you text me, so it's not on Do Not Disturb. But my thing is like, I want to be on it less because I feel like it has something to do with, like, my anxiety at times, and I don't focus on the things that I need to. And by keeping it on Do Not Disturb, I'm not getting tons of notifications. I'm not being like, oh, something popped up. Oh, yeah, it's a news article. Let me just open up my phone, and then I end up scrolling on something.
Right.
So for me, it was just like, oh, that's one less thing that I will aimlessly scroll on. But again, for the business side of things, I was like, damn, this actually sucks.
Right.
But I told everybody on my TikTok lives, I was like, because people would come in like, why are you live streaming? It's going to be gone. This is pointless. Why are you trying to, reach subscription goals? And I'm like, because I don't think TikTok's going anywhere. I think it'll go dark for a little while. I was expecting like a week of it being out. I always said it was going to come back. I never thought it was going to be going away forever.
Right.
And then, what did we say, 14 hours it was down for?
Yeah, 12.
12 hours? 12 hours.
I mean, yeah. But I think a lot of, like, phone anxiety, yes. Mm-hmm. Especially if you, like, I feel like, for me, I do it for a different reason. Like, I scroll aimlessly for a different reason. It's not like but, like, you and I have talked about it, and it's, like, sometimes I just, like, can't turn my mind off.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I got a Switch. I read.
But don't they say, like, and again, this isn't to combat it, but don't they say, like, watching TV before bed is bad, being on your phone before bed is bad, like, it stimulates your brain?
Yes.
Interesting.
But, like, for me, I struggle with anxiety. I always have. Mm-hmm. But I've always managed it. It was, like, as a kid, it was different, but, like, as an adult, I have gained tools.
So you think, like, scrolling on your phone helps your anxiety more than what it does by stimulating your brain, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it
Got it.
distracts my mind from whatever I'm actually thinking.
Got it.
And I think that it's like it can be counterintuitive because there is times where I'm like, okay, put it down, go for a walk, do something like that,
Yep.
and like that helps me because I'm very much like an active person.
Right.
Is going to the gym, going for a walk, doing those things.
Yep.
That quiets my anxiety down. I chew gum like a criminal at all times.
Facts.
Because
also, I feel like it helped you when you stopped vaping too.
Yes. And I can't really eat candy all day long because that was another thing is like my like sweet tooth jumped
Through the roof.
But like I've always been like that, and that was always something that I really focused on is like being active, keeping my mind distracted, stuff like that. But like now I have everything's on your phone. Mm-hmm. So like regardless of what it is, if it's your email, if it's text messages, if it's social media, if it's all of those, you're like, my life is on my phone.
Right.
And we talked about it today, is TikTok is a mainstream for a lot of people for their life.
And their revenue, their jobs. Some people, when, were able to create their own jobs and businesses based off of an app and completely change their lives. A lot of those people don't have like the previous job that they had.
No.
So I could definitely see where TikTok going away, like, yeah, sure, it impacted me and, my business and our business, but it wasn't like that was the only source of revenue on it. So like, yeah, it hurt, but it wasn't like life-changing.
Right.
Where I could see these people who literally have their businesses based on TikTok completely gone.
Right.
Completely gone. Just like that.
Right. So, I mean, like, I think that your phone, social media, and especially TikTok, it's like, there's so many different things that, like, it would be detrimental to, I think, our generation, both positively and negatively.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I think there was probably some great pros with it going away in a sense.
Right.
And again, if it is a true national security issue, that concerns me as, someone who's in the military.
Correct.
But who knows? Because you see these congressmen asking silly questions about the TikTok app, and it's like, do these politicians really know? And again, we're not political people. We don't get involved in politics. But it's like, what's the truth? And I feel like that's really tough nowadays with, media, social media, and all that kind of stuff. But no, I think, phones are great. It's a part of our lives now. It's not like when we were younger, it was like, oh, they have a cell phone, I don't. It's now everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's connected. Everybody has everything. And, to a degree, I think it changed a lot in the sense of like how people interact because it's tough. Like you said, everything's there. Everything's there. You're always attached to work no matter what you do. Not just you specifically, me specifically, literally everybody. Everybody is connected to their job via their phone, whether a 9-to-5 guy, gal, whoever.
Yeah.
But it's just, it can be a lot. And like, I've been trying to cut down on it at different times just to not have myself just in these deep holes of aimlessness, because I do enjoy scrolling social media and stuff.
Right.
But it's just a matter of like time and a place. And like for you, like we've kind of talked about it before, of like that's how you kind of shut down your brain.
Right.
Especially like right before bed. And I'm like, can we not be on our phones kind of thing? Like, what are we doing? But then it's, you explain and I understand. And it's like, for me, it's like a balance of finding that, and everybody's different.
And it's like, it's also like, once it's explained, it's not really what you thought it was in the beginning. Like, because I remember there was a point where you're like, let's be better at not being on our phones in bed. And I'm like, trigger. And I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not like you're sitting there having a conversation with me and have my phone in my face and I'm like, yeah. It's more or less of like, we get in bed, we watch TV, like we talk, we do whatever. And I'm not always on my phone in bed. Like if you're in the shower and I'm laying in bed, like that's one thing. But like it's all about the balance, and it's also about like the understanding is like some people need it. And like I wouldn't even say that like I'm an iPad kid, because you can attest this, I'm never on my phone at work.
Right. That's true. And like that was one thing that I had to take into consideration when we were living together and started living together as a relationship, because I'm not here to put you on blast, but it's like you're on your phone a lot when you're at home. And I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
Like, you're home, why on your phone so much? But then it's like, well, I'm never on my phone at work. I can't because you're busy. And we all want to be on social media. We all want to scroll. We all do it. So it's like, that's just your time.
Right.
And like you said, it's about balance. You're not, as soon as you walk in the door, it's all night, every second. No, but that's something I had to kind of understand. And like you said, balance. Like for me, I don't need it before I go to bed. And I'll scroll in bed when she's in the shower or whatever, and I'll put it up and we'll chat and we'll play Switch. We'll watch a show, or she might scroll and I might watch a show. Like you said, it's all about balance and understanding. And thankfully, you're very good at communicating like the why behind it and not just aimlessly scrolling during conversations, which is huge, because that would drive me nuts.
But it's also like, it's like time and place. It's like the same thing of when, if we're with family or friends,
Right.
I'm never on my phone.
Right. No, 100%.
And we like sit down at dinner, I'm never on my
right.
phone.
Yep. Exactly.
Like, it's like I walk through the front door, and like this is something that we have talked about, is my life in like my safe place has completely changed.
Right. Yep.
Because you're home, you're in here, you have your business, we have the dogs, and I'm never like in a moment where I'm like, I'm alone, and
Right.
I don't feel that. And so sometimes I like sync myself. I come home, I change, I will then put a hoodie on, put my hood on, he'll be in here, I'll come say hello, and then I'll sink myself into the couch.
Yeah.
And I'm either on FaceTime with my sister,
Right.
or I'm scrolling through social media. I can be doing my schoolwork on my computer.
It's like your disconnect time.
And it's just like, that's the only place where I'm like, I don't hear or
Right.
see anything, and I'm just going, it's not even like I'm looking for something.
Right. No. And again, like that was something that I had to understand coming into it, because again, you were never on your phone once at Britt and Kyle's. When we're with our families, you're never on your phone. So it's like when we're in our safe space in our home and it's just us living our lives, like, yeah, that's the time where you do it instead of doing it all the time.
Right.
Just a matter of understanding. And again, we've had a lot of conversations about a lot of different things of trying to get that baseline understanding on everything.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, and everybody has their, like, niche.
Yes.
So.
Everybody has their niche.
But, like, and I think that it always changes because, like, it's not that TikTok has been around forever and I'm like, this is just my thing. That's not true.
Right.
Because there's been long periods of time where I don't even touch my TikTok.
Right.
And there's long periods of time where I don't even touch my phone.
Right. Because also you have to think like, okay, before TikTok there was Instagram. Mm-hmm. Before Instagram there was Facebook. So like there's always been something.
Right.
But it's just a matter of like, again, the evolution of technology and social media.
Right. And I think that, in my opinion, for like turning off TikTok and all of that, and like we didn't really want to talk about it because like it's a mainstream topic right now, and so like everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, this is kind of like our first like big like in the news topic.
Right. And that was one of our like starting points of like when we started the podcast. We're like,
we're not going to sit here and do like pop culture topics.
We're not doing stuff like that. We're not going to get political. We're not going to like, I was like, that's not healthy for our
relationship. Well, it's also nothing we ever really talk about.
No. And so when it comes down to this is like, people are going into the deeper end of like the politics, the security of it, all of the things. And at least for me, I'm like, it's a social media platform. And at the end of the day, it's just like when Vine shut down.
Yep. And
I remember that vividly because I was in college when that went down.
Were you, like, I never got into Vine ever. Were you like, did you did you yourself like make videos, or was it more of
Not
just
really.
like a view?
Just a
A
viewer.
scroll thing,
Yeah,
yep.
a scroll thing. But like at the same time of like what it is and what it is to people is like you have TikTok shop, you have ads, you have like you stream, you do
Yep.
live streams, like it's a lot more than that. And to be honest, before I got onto like Twitch to watch you when you didn't live here, I watched all of your streams on TikTok.
Yep.
And so I'm like, there's so many different ways, and like you can learn a lot on
Yeah,
there. Is like you learn about the news, you learn about what's going on, you learn like there's so much on there.
How many
like,
restaurants have we found on social media, TikTok, where it's like, we need to go there?
Right.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is we'll have like a date night and we'll pull up like things to do in Charlotte at this time of year, and it's like
We have found more restaurants and things to do, I feel like, from social media than we have of like food near me. Like you don't see any of the stuff from like social media on Google.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Because it's the same thing as like people are giving their like honest opinions about things. Like even when we were down in New Orleans for Gabby and Kyle's wedding.
Yep.
There was like a couple of places where I was like, we should go here.
Right.
And we went there for breakfast.
Yep.
And then like the boys and everybody went there almost every day after that.
Right.
So it's like there's so much more to it other than just like
the renegade.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It's like some people use it for that and so be it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
like,
that's the great thing about the platform. You get there's no cookie cutter use for it.
Right. Because like I'm not sitting on my phone in the moments where I disconnect and get into my little like bubble I'm not just on TikTok the whole time.
Right.
Is like I could scroll through and clean up my outgo box on my email.
Or you're reading articles about the golf industry or whatever it is.
Right. And there's plenty of things that like I'll do swing analysis videos. Like today we're driving in the car and I was talking to one of my members and he was sending me videos and I was sending him pictures and drawings of where I wanted him to be in his golf swing. And we were just communicating about that. But like we had a 30-minute drive and I was on my phone for 20 minutes and I was explaining to him what I was doing as I was doing it.
Right.
But like there's so much more than just TikTok. So I didn't think that it was the end of the world. It was going to be a culture shock for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions of people. But at the same time, I'm like, we all would have been okay.
Right.
So.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's a big thing right now. And like, I even go through and like some of my favorite people that do podcasts, I like watch their stuff on their social media, on TikTok, Instagram, all of those things. And just to like listen to them about it because they also use that platform for endorsements.
Right.
And I'm like, we're not at that point.
No.
We're like, and all of that, but we were talking about it and like, if it's going to be something that's heightened, should we make a TikTok?
Right.
And post our reels that we put on Instagram on there.
Right. And I think like my kind of realization was like TikTok was there. And sure, like, I was posting videos every once in a while that, Renee would create for us. And, I would obviously go live quite a bit. But it was like once the thought of it disappearing came to light, I was kind of like, ooh, like, I kind of took it for granted.
Right.
Of like even the possibility. Like I look back at some of like my higher views, higher like videos, and I'm like, first off, how did this get so many likes? Why did it get so many likes? And it got on the stream somewhere and got spread throughout. A bunch of people found it entertaining. They liked it. And I'm like, why did I take it for granted for so long now that I have the realization of like, oh shoot, like this is a great tool to use.
Right.
And I'm kind of glad that it kind of knocked some like re-excitement in me about it. But yeah, I'm glad it's back obviously for the business side of things, and it's just now like kind of reinvigorated me about it.
Right. And that's where we found the Costco couch.
So we found the Costco couch. Costco, need you. Need you right now.
Are you still freaking out about
I'm not. You make it sound like I'm upset or like anxious about it. No, again, I think that was absolutely hilarious, and I was not expecting that answer at all, at freaking all. But yeah, TikTok's back.
TikTok's back.
TikTok's back. And we are in the works of getting a TikTok for the podcast, so stay tuned. That'll be released the next month or so, I'd say.
Yep. Kind of, the hard thing is working on like the podcast, getting like an email and doing all of that because you can't sign up because we already have TikToks. So it's kind of just like a, well, what do we do now?
Right.
Kind of deal.
Right.
But no, we shall see. And once we do, we'll post it. We'll put it on our website. We'll put it on our social media. We'll put it on Discord.
Yep.
But yeah, so coming soon will be the BK Lounge.
BK Lounge Pod TikTok.
TikTok.
But before we're gonna go into some write-ins that we've received. But before we do so, again, as we always like to plug, if you are listening on Apple or Spotify or you're viewing this on YouTube, we do film it live every Sunday on our Twitch page, which is twitch.tv/the BK Lounge Pod. And thank you to everybody for all of the new follows, the tier 1 subscriptions, the gifted subs that have come in. We can't thank y'all enough because again, without you, we wouldn't have anybody to chat with. So we greatly appreciate all the follows, all the comments, all the live interaction, all the subscriptions. It means the absolute world to us. So thank you very much for that.
But yeah, so if on both our Discord and on our social media, feel free to write in and talk to us about some topics, what you want to do, because, for example, today we're going to kind of dive into what some people have written in.
Yeah.
So if you have anything that you are itching to ask us and talk about.
We want to talk about what you guys want to talk about.
Right.
We do.
And so we'll always leave some room to either communicate with the people that are here with us live on when we're streaming it and all of that. And for the people that get to listen to it throughout the week, make sure you write into us on both our Discord and our social media pages.
Yeah, please do. But first question is from Hales. And she says, this was actually a write-in today. What would y'all say your biggest pet peeves were when you first were getting together? Are they still the same, or what are they now?
You want to go first?
No, I want you to go first.
No.
Yeah.
It's not about what you want.
I read the question.
So I wrote the question.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair. My biggest pet peeve when I first moved down here. When I read that, I literally was like, I genuinely can't think of when I first moved down here.
I mean, you can even go back to when we lived together before you moved down here.
Well, my biggest pet peeve back then was you never gave me a chance.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But
Sweet.
But my biggest pet peeve, I genuinely can't think of one. Of like when we first moved in together.
You hear that? You hear that, people? Your girl is perfect. Come on.
I think my biggest pet peeve back then, and it's still one of my pet peeves now, is when you either change, take your shoes off, or shower, things are just scattered out. Like you'll put your hat on the back of the toilet, or there'll be shoes in the bathroom, or whatever you were wearing to get into the shower is just in a pile in the bathroom. Or there'll be a hat on the bar, or there'll be a hat on the island. I think that's just one of my pet peeves.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right.
Brace for impact.
Yeah. I think that's the most ridiculous thing, but it is true. I also change close to 4 times a day.
Yeah.
You don't.
I do not. And when I do change, things go in the hamper.
Yeah, but you wear a maximum of 3 outfits a week.
That is not true. 3 outfits a week. You make me sound like I'm a hobo. Don't comment on that.
Okay.
What was your pet peeve when I first moved in?
Somebody wrote in, we listen and we don't judge.
We listen, we don't
Wrong.
judge.
I didn't start it with that, and I will judge him for everything he says. But, well, where do I start?
Oh, I knew something like that was going to be said. I knew it.
No. I think we've talked about it, but I think we talked about it last episode. But the uselessness of your shit. The stuff that you have that makes no sense of why we need it in that moment or in any moment until it actually happens. So like Ziploc bags. That was one of my biggest, that was actually my first thing as soon as you moved here. I opened the door, you've been in North Carolina for less than 3 hours, and I'm like, that's going to send me over the edge right there. As I open a full box of Ziploc bags and sponges and stuff. He's a hoarder.
I'm not a hoarder. I like to prepare. Failure to prepare is preparation to fail.
That doesn't make sense because we also live a quarter of a mile from Target.
Yep.
And the even shorter distance to Walmart across the street.
Just think, that's one less trip that we have to go for Ziploc bags or napkins. We actually...
And he works from home, so he can go when he has a free minute from what he's doing.
But we don't have to because we have it because we're prepared.
No.
But I actually just went through I emptied out the last bit of the first rack of napkins that I brought. We still have 2 left.
Great.
Yeah. I saw that and I was like, look at that. Out of napkins, out of the first container, we still have two bags of napkins. Ready. Okay, is that still a pet peeve?
Yes.
How is that still a pet peeve when I don't do that?
Because we still have stuff in this house that makes no sense. It will always be a pet peeve. And I'll even speak on a pet peeve we saw today. We'll talk about it today. He leaves the sun visor down on the car at all times.
And she shot me eyes for it.
I gave him one side eye, and I shut it, and I said no words. I could have said some words.
And I'm like, oh yeah? And she's like, what, you got something to say? And I just started laughing.
I didn't say it like that, and I didn't even smile at you. And I was like, you have something to say, sir?
And I said, nope.
Yeah.
I don't.
Don't even get started with me. I wouldn't say that there's anything in particular that I'm like, that annoys me.
Is there anything that just, like, drives you up an effing wall?
Yes, but
what?
I don't know.
Yes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The math ain't mathin'.
I don't know. I feel like it, yeah. But for Hales that wrote in for that, thanks for that. We're going to argue about it
Yeah,
after
thanks, Haley. Unbelievable.
After this podcast is done, we'll turn it off and...
We'll duke it out over some Mario Kart or something. We all know who's going to win that.
No.
Next question from Ashy Dawn in Discord. Would you rather have the ability to have a rewind button on life or a pause button?
That's easy.
Go.
Rewind.
Why?
For many reasons. I don't think I would want to pause anything.
Is it a rewind button for, like, regret or to, like, relive something? Like, what's the reasoning behind it?
I would say for both. To either relive something or to change something. Throw it in reverse, do it again.
Got it.
But, like, what would be the point of pausing anything?
I think...
Is that what your answer is?
No.
You would have a reverse button.
I think I would enjoy either.
I think that's crazy, because also...
Okay, someone wrote in and I have to stop you. If you had a rewind button, would Bert be in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Convincing. Wow. I think the pause button's like, life is good, I want to pause and enjoy it.
I think that's ridiculous.
And I also think a possible pause...
Because you could live through that moment, and then you could throw it in reverse and live through it again. Why would you pause it?
Why would you pause it? I think of...
If you could live through it, and then live through it again and again, Also, Trigger was the movie Click with Adam Sandler. I hated that movie because he was pausing, fast forwarding, doing all that stuff. So, yeah. Crazy to me. Crazy to me.
Yeah. See, I think of a pause button of like, again, life is good. I want to stop and enjoy this moment. Or another reason for a pause button of like, we have so many effing decisions we need to make. Let's pause things for right now.
I think that's crazy.
No, but I think I would also pick a rewind just to relive things. Because I don't want to say it's for like regret, because I feel like we've all made decisions that we wish were different. But I think to relive
What decision
the
would you
highs.
remake?
What decisions would I remake?
Yep.
I think number one on the top of my list is putting myself before the military sooner in my career. Because I was always a yes man for whatever was needed. And never focusing on myself.
Yes.
I think that would be one of the top ones for sure.
Yes. I'm with you.
I would just, I was kind of like hoping that like fishing with that question would have been like, oh, I'd rewind to have our lives start earlier. No.
No. I'll be honest, no.
Yep, there's the honesty. Are you good for the next question?
What do you mean?
No, it was a joke. It was a joke.
I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change us. I wouldn't.
Fair?
Because who we are now is who we were not then.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's a good point.
I don't think that we would be even close to being a successful couple if we were together back in the day when you wanted it.
Very true. No,
so
I can agree with that.
That's another example of you being like, I want it now, I'm gonna have it, and me being like, meh.
Yep. And again, we were in different places in our lives individually,
yes.
And I think you're very correct. I don't think it would be as successful as it is now with the circumstances back then.
Correct. So don't come at me for that.
No, I ain't coming at you. Will you read the last question? Because that question doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, so this question was written in by RBP Dog, and this gets asked almost every single stream. And I've gotten this written in multiple times, and I know it's directed towards me. And it's asking me what my recommendations and past experience with launch monitors.
Oh, like indoor simulator type things?
Yeah. I am currently doing research to install one in our garage for this winter and spring. So, there are millions. There's not actually millions, but there are a lot of options. And you can't really go wrong. It's more or less of like what you're trying to get through them. So for anybody that is needing a little bit more explanation on what a launch monitor is, it's a simulator for golf so that you can full swing, you can get the measurements of where your ball is going, what is happening, all of the stuff that you would see if you went to an open field, hit a golf ball, you'd watch it, see it do all the different stuff, if you got it in the air, if you didn't. But it just displays on a monitor because there's a little camera that's watching you and it's measuring everything that is past the golf ball.
Got it.
But I have done research because I've gotten 2 different launch monitors for clubs that I've worked for, and I've always gone with a flight scope. It's a little bit more expensive, but we do fittings. So there is a bunch of different brands. But I've always gone with the flight scope and went with a 3D monitor, so it's much bigger, but they have smaller sizes so that they're more affordable and you can bring them to the range and, do what you need without having all of the technology. And
what was the brand again?
Flight Scope.
Flight Scope, okay.
And that's what we do all of our fitting through. So I'll have people book and they'll be like, I'm getting fit for a driver, and I'll use that for measurements to understand the best club that I could put them in. So if I'm going to recommend anything, I would go Flight Scope.
Does Flight Scope have like where you can play like courses too, or no?
Yes. So there's different packages, and just like anything, you buy more into it. So There's TrackMan. That's a very popular one. It's very expensive. You can get like a 3D like cage. You can get a cage built and have like the monitor on a bar, so you don't actually have a detachable monitor.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of just like computers in a sense, but just looking for what you want, and something that's within your budget. So it's really easy to compare all of them, especially if you're looking for something. But we use FlightScope just based off of its indoor, outdoor. It has 3D measurements, and it gives us everything that we need to know with an accurate reading. So that's one of my bigger recommendations if I were to recommend one.
There you go. There it is.
But yeah.
We finished a little early. Do you think we should maybe take a couple questions from live viewers?
Yeah, we got 142 people in here right now.
Heck yeah. Share the stream, y'all. Share the podcast. We appreciate you.
Anybody in here right now that has anything that they would like to ask us before we head on out and watch the Bills lose to the Ravens? And nobody give me an update if that's not the case right now, because I don't need to be crying on live stream.
Hammer,
with my big gulp.
With your big gulp, with your Polar Pop. Hammer says, what is the biggest compromise you've made in y'all's relationship?
Ooh. Why is he asking us this?
I think I know.
What's the biggest compromise?
Compromise.
For
I do.
both of us?
For both of us.
Okay.
I think the compromise of understanding the very difference in, obviously, each other and our workspaces, and then also adding a third tier to that of like what each other need. With you being around people all day, you're constantly having that social interaction. Me being home, I'm not having that social interaction. But me needing that social interaction, you needing, quiet time and, your own space.
Yeah.
But then also you understanding that, yes, you've had a long day, but there are things that I need from you in our relationship, whether that be, physical touch, communication, interaction. And then I also need to understand that after you've had a long day, that you need time, space, decompression time. And I feel like that's a huge compromise for both of us. Mm-hmm. Because I would love to have you walk in the door and we just constantly hang out, talk, chat, do things. But then I understand that that's not what you need in that moment.
No.
Do you think I think that's a pretty big compromise for both of us.
I agree.
Are there any other big compromises that you can think of? That one just immediately stuck out. I know we've kind of talked about it before on previous episodes, but...
Yeah, I agree. I don't it can go different ways, and I think that there are compromises on both ends, and I think that there are different extremes to both sides of it, and that's not something that I really want to dive into, but I agree. I think that is a big compromise, and I think that's something that I continuously struggle with all the time.
But I also think that we're both getting better.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the beginning.
Agreed.
I think we've both gotten a lot better with that.
But yeah, but I think that forms of communication is something that I wouldn't say is compromise, but I think that is a struggle to understand at times, depending on where we're at mentally within our day or whatever it might be, because that is something that I continuously struggle with, because sometimes I feel like I wouldn't say that I'm not being heard, but it's just I have a hard time getting it out, and I don't ever want, when it gets out, I don't want it to be it's this big burden, negative, dark cloud. It's not that. There's no good way to go get it out without thinking that it's going to hurt your feelings.
Yep.
So then it kind of staggers itself out. And I think a compromise is sometimes just working through it without actually having to communicate it, because once we work through it, it kind of works itself out. Mm-hmm. But that initial punch to it,
yep,
is the hardest part.
Yeah, and I think that only gets better with us as we continue to communicate and understand. Mm-hmm. What other questions do y'all have in these last couple of minutes?
I've gotten this one a couple of times.
What's that?
Today, and it's talking about pushing yourself to quit vaping. We've talked about it today, but I struggle with anxiety, like really bad anxiety. And I think that I've never done it. I've never been addicted to anything. Like I said, is like my whole life I have been an adamant gum chewer because it helps with my anxiety. So I think the oral fixation of like a short period of time when it came to like vaping was just a thing. So like cutting it cold turkey and just moving forward with my life wasn't easy in the beginning, but it wasn't hard for me. But I know that's not the case for everybody.
Yeah.
Because nicotine, tobacco, all of those things are highly addictive. So it's not like, oh, I can just give it up whenever I want. It's like, no, your brain is now programmed to be like, this is what I need, when I need it, how I need it. And that's just how you go, like, day to day. So turning that part of your brain off is not easy by any means. It wasn't easy for me, but you have to distract it. Because there's different parts of your brain that can obviously speak louder. And for me, I was like, I don't want to be this anxious anymore.
Yeah.
So let me start pulling pieces away that I know can add to it. And that was one of them. So.
When is your first guest appearance going to happen and who will it be? We keep talking about it off and on. I'm not really sure. We've got some friends and family that we've talked about having on the podcast. But I think it's kind of a to be determined. I think we'll probably try to schedule something out to make sure they're available and that kind of thing. But to be determined.
We had somebody write in today that they want Bobby and Barb.
Bobby and his wife. Yep, Bobby and Barb. That'd be a good one. And
Bobby's at the Eagles game, or was at the Eagles game, because I saw his social media with his cooler full of beers. So.
I think that was actually full of Ghost Energy.
Was it Ghost Energy?
I think there were probably some beers in the bottom.
There's probably beers in the bottom. But I was scrolling quick, so I just saw the
can top.
The can top, and I'm like, you have to. You're at an Eagles game. You know that he's doing that.
Absolutely. Tailgating, you got to.
But yeah. Want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
If you could change one core personality trait for one another, what would that be and why?
That's a tough one.
And Aunt Pam, we already gave Kaden a shout out.
Yeah, Pam, we gave you
Britt,
Pam,
and Kyle.
You were the first one that got a shout out, Pam.
And I saw Brittany's text, and I'm not going to bring it up on here because everybody talked about it last week, and we're not doing that again.
One core personality trait. I don't necessarily know if it's like, because when I think of like personality traits, I think of like kindness and stuff like that. But like me, as like, I don't necessarily know if it is considered a personality trait. But like sometimes I wish I didn't, and it's going to sound bad, but I feel like I wish I didn't care as much in some situations where I took it as like this bigger thing than it actually is, or I wore it on my sleeve for too long. I wish there were some situations that I could just wipe things off of. And I think Thacker just wrote in overthinker. I think that kind of also adds to that, and that might be that trait of just overthinking at times about things, or having it be heavier than it actually is, or caring too much. And I don't want to say, I want to care less because that sounds bad, but just not having it be so heavy in a sense. Because I do want to care, and I'm very passionate about caring and being that person for a lot of different reasons, whether it be like a good caring or like I care that, something happened and it makes me feel a certain type of way, but I just wish that level was lower.
Yeah.
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 What about you?
For me?
You.
If I could change anything about myself and like a personality trait, and it's something that like I'm proud of, but I wish that I could control on when it shows and when it doesn't, is my like alpha mentality. Is like, I always want to be the strongest, like person in the room. Like, not physically, but I want to be like mentally, emotionally, spiritually strong in any circumstance that I'm in. And that's very much not the case for me. And I have a hard time showing that side. Is I, behind like closed doors and like vulnerable moment, like I'm very like soft. Like, I wouldn't say like I'm just like soft and I'm a pushover, because I'm not.
No.
But like I hold a lot of emotions of myself and other people very, very close to me. And it affects me in times where I can't see myself and all I can see is the people around me. So like I wish that I could have like a better happy medium of both like vulnerable and like alpha, because I mean the industry that I'm in, like the way that I was raised, like my mom is a very like strong independent woman.
Yep.
My sister is a very strong independent woman. I'm a very strong independent woman, and like that is all very like positive.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But like sometimes in people's minds that don't see that, think it's this big negative. And so I wish that it could be like split, where it's like, this is what you see, this is what it is. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm proud to be strong and independent, but like even in our relationship, I wish that sometimes I didn't feel like, I wouldn't say that I have to like puff my chest, but like more of like just calm down and just like let it be.
Mm-hmm.
But like it gets so heightened because I'm just like, I'm going to prove a point, not in like a negative way. It could be something positive and being like, this is what it is.
Right.
But I wish that I could have both sides of that and who I am speak a little bit louder. And like even when, say, I wouldn't say like when we like argue, but when we have differences, it's like it takes a while for me to be like, this is what it is. And it's just because I'm so heightened that I don't allow myself to be like, this is the situation. This is like me being vulnerable. This is me being honest, and not me just trying to overpower what you're saying.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. But I think great questions by people who have written in for write-ins, and then also we've had a lot of great live write-in questions. So thank you guys very much for those questions. I hope we answered them. I mean, we answered them as honest and truthfully as we could, by all means.
And if we didn't get to them, write into us.
Yes, write in.
We can we'll probably write back to some of you. So if you DM us on our Instagram, we'll write back and we'll probably add it in eventually to one of our episodes, put it into our Discord, socials, all of that.
Yes.
So if you haven't followed us, make sure you click those follows, download our podcast.
Download, save the podcast, have it pop up on your little feed on, Spotify or Apple. Subscribe to us on YouTube, leave us a review, rate it, do all those things, because again, it helps us meet new folks to interact with, and we appreciate it. But episode 9 in the books. Thank you all so much for joining us, as always. Thank you for all the new follows, all the new subscribers, everything that y'all do for us. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. And we'll definitely look forward to speaking with y'all next weekend, next Sunday, live here on Twitch, and at 6 p.m. Eastern. Any last words, Kenneth?
That's all you got for them?
Yeah, what else you got? You got something for them? Give it to them.
No. Love you. Bye.
Y'all be good now.
This has been the BK Lounge Podcast with Bert and Kenny. We hope you enjoyed your time diving deep in on wild topics, listening to crazy stories, and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week live on Twitch. Be sure to check out our website for all our social links at www.thebkloungepod.com. Y'all be good now, and we'll see you next time.